Dude, check the news. It doesn't matter what channel.
Have you ever seen a series go from a forerunner, an absolute trailblazer for a genre of games, to just losing the plot? Welcome to the world of Tekken 8. Reception among both casual and professional players have been mixed. Some love it, some are in the middle, some pro players absolutely hate it. Well, until Namco gags them. After spending some time with 8, it's been pretty mid, for reasons that are obvious and not so obvious. So what's up with Tekken 8? Well, subscribe to the channel and I'll tell you all about it.
Cat flap win.
You're probably thinking to yourself, how is this game bad? It looks nice, the music is great, you have a lot of characters to choose from, there's actual single-player content now, admittedly that isn't a high bar to clear, and the gameplay has that satisfying Tekken feel. My experience with Tekken 8 was like drinking a bottle of wine. At first, it's pretty good, but then you drink too much of it and black out and wake up outside with a hangover that could kill a small child, a huge credit card charge, and some stains on your shorts that you are too afraid to ask where they came from.
I didn't even drink that much.
I am a fighting game fan, but I've never been too hardcore into Tekken. I do like messing around with the series for fun, but it's never been my main tournament game. I definitely got better at Tekken with my time in 8, but I'm nowhere near tournament ready. I got out of my pools at EVO Japan for Street Fighter 6 and Smash Ultimates in 2020. I would not be able to do so for Tekken. Basically, I am preemptively addressing the inevitable, "You hate Tekken because you're bad at it" kind of comments. I'm not good at Tekken, but I enjoy plenty of games that I'm not good at. Also, given how games are constantly updated, there's a chance something that I say in this video might be outdated down the line. This is just my experience with Tekken 8 as of May 2024. Also, if your main game is Tekken and you love entering tournaments and supporting the scene, that is fantastic. I have nothing but love and respect for the Tekken community, and I hope the scene keeps growing. This is just me airing grievances with the game itself. I feel like that's implied, but I should spell it out for some people. I know how the comments section works. I had a bit of a character crisis in Tekken 8. My main character in the series has always been Marduk, but he isn't in the game, or wasn't, depending if those jerks at Namco decide to make him DLC again. I tried Leo, but they weren't quite working out for me. Then I discovered Reina. Mishimas were always too difficult for me to main, but Reina is far easier than her family. Yeah, spoiler alert, Reina is Heihachi's kid, for the two people who could not put that together. After practicing with her for a bit, I was off to the races. And to the game's credit, tutorials in 8 are a step above 7. Not a huge step, but a step in the right direction. I played a fair amount of the arcade quest, where you make this horrible abomination of an Xbox avatar and cruise around various arcades and fight different CPUs. It's cute, kind of filler, and it ended up being a decent tutorial, slowly showing you the mechanics of Tekken. So after grinding that for a bit and being jealous of all the cool costumes the CPUs have, I decided to spend my hard-earned Tekken gold on some costumes. Ever since Tekken 5, you've been able to customize your characters to your liking. You can make some fun stuff, like this Chippendale's Kazuya who promptly washed me. I made my Reina look like she came out of Dance Dance, it's a teen thing. Customization is limited in this game compared to 7, and while limitation does foster creativity, that's not the reason behind it. Let's get to the real reason why the Steam reviews are mixed. It's the Fight Pass. Tekken, like so many other games, are trying to chase after that sweet, sweet Fortnite money. And Namco apparently wants to be the Japanese equivalent of Activision Blizzard, so they snuck this stuff in after launch. For 600 coins, you get stuff like more outfits for your abomination of an avatar, accessories that would have been standard in a different game, or classic outfits of your favorite characters. If you were one of those Coomers who are that upset that you couldn't see Lily's underwear anymore, all you need to do is spend your real money on Tekken coins to get your Coom on, and somehow that is less dignified than just going to a soap land. 8 does that annoying thing like a lot of games where you have to buy the fake money to get the Fight Pass, because just buying the thing directly would make too much sense. You can't just buy 600 coins either, you have to buy the 1000 coin pack to have enough money for the pass, and then you have to get more coins if you want the next pass. Also, I had to re-record this part because it's called a Fight Pass, not a Battle Pass, even though it's the same damn thing. And don't just say, you hit the Fight Pass because you're broke. Well, it's true, that's why I'm drinking 7-Eleven wine out of a Kirby glass. Ugh. Pro tip, don't drink the 7-Eleven wine. Sneaking this stuff in after launch isn't new to games, and no matter the context, it is still sleazy. At least Capcom was upfront about their Battle Pass stuff. Harada defended the Battle Pass, saying that they needed to recoup development costs. Maybe, I don't know, budget your game better? Instead of getting into Twitter beefs and doing DMCA takedowns on mods. It's just a total cockslap to pay a premium for a game, then be constantly pushed to buy stuff that feels like it should have been in the base game. It's even worse that people are still defending microtransactions in major releases like this, because nothing makes you feel more like a king than defending your ability to give a major corporation more of your hard-earned money. And of course, the Battle Pass isn't the same as the Character Pass, and Season 1 for Tekken 8 sucks. There's only 2 characters confirmed so far, Eddie, a mainstay that they decided to hide behind a paywall, and Lydia, another waifu character that people stopped caring about after she got nerfed in 7. My guess is we're getting nothing but Tekken 7 rehashes for Season 1. They should add in Lucky Chloe and Geg Ass and make them top tier. As a joke. All of the microtransaction stuff is easy to ignore if the gameplay and online are fun. And in 8, it's a mixed bag. The fighting is familiar to previous Tekken titles, but not exactly. Being good at Tekken was mastering movement and your defensive options, as well as having deep knowledge of your opponent's moves and frame data, which made it a massive dick move to charge for frame data in 7, but I digress. Movement in 8 took a small nerf, and my terrible Korean backdashes aren't helping with that. Still, it is Tekken as you know, but Namco wanted to reinvent the wheel with the new heat system. When you're in heat mode, you do chip damage and gain certain buffs, like getting unbreakable grabs or easy just frame moves. Again, on paper, it sounds like a great way to mix up the Tekken formula. In practice, you end up eating safe on-block heat engagers and are forced into a 50-50 situation where you hope you guess right. Even if you do, you still take chip damage. The problem with the system that gives characters unique buffs is that someone is always going to draw the short end of the stick. Characters like Dragunov and King get some nice buffs, others like Asuka, not so much. It reminds me of the V system from Street Fighter V, where some V triggers like Necalli's or Urian's were absolutely stupid, and then you had characters like Karin who had some very weak V triggers. And here's the thing, the game doesn't look that bad in footage, it just looks like I'm sucking ass, which is true. The thing about explaining nuances in game mechanics is that only the really devoted know what you're getting mad about, and those devoted enough to get to that point either drop the title because of those mechanics, or just sucked it up and learned to love it. My theory is that Namco wants to get younger players into Tekken, and they think by forcing aggressive play would make the game more appealing from both a player and viewer's perspective. I can see newer players liking the more aggressive style of play and being able to go in whenever and start mashing, but I can also see how players from older titles might not like it. For me, I wasn't exactly having a good time, but I think it could be salvaged with a bit of tweaking. Or maybe this is me just coping about being bad at the game, you be the judge. While the gameplay is a mixed bag, the netcode is a little better. For the record, I am playing this game on PlayStation 5 with a wired connection and living in Tokyo. Living in Japan tends to mask issues with online play and fighting games. 8 is certainly better online than 7, which again, isn't a high bar to clear. Most of my matches were very playable, with only a few matches being truly bad. The reason being moves in Tekken come out slower than in other fighting games. Even 1 or 2 frames of rollback didn't affect my play. That said, most of my matches did have 1 or 2 frames of rollback. It didn't make me win, but I couldn't blame the netcode. I didn't encounter too many ragers either, but whenever I did get some W's, I would always encounter some one-and-doner that would totally kill my momentum. It is disappointing that a game with such a high budget like 8 couldn't clean up the netcode more. It is playable for sure, but I would like something more. Oh yeah, pro tip, in the lower levels of play, people will always wake up rage art. Also, this has nothing to do with the netcode, and I didn't know where else to put this. The character designs are kind of butt-innate. For every cool design like King, Lily, or Dragunov, you either have characters that are too busy or are just plain bad. Seriously, I have no idea what issues they had against Paul in this title. Maybe that was the plan. Make the default designs look like shit to make the battle pass more enticing. Also, this is nitpicking, but all of the girls look like sex dolls. Their faces hardly look different from each other, and they don't emote much either. It probably makes it easier to share costumes and stuff between characters, but still. Am I complaining too much? Am I making mountains out of molehills? Maybe, you be the judge. But for those of you who don't know how this whole YouTube thing works, that's the name of the game. One thing that hit me when making this video is that there is no competition in 3D fighting games. If you play 2D or 2D.5 games, you have several options to choose from, but for 3D fighters, every game in that style has managed to punch itself square in the nuts. Tekken's sister series, Soul Calibur, had a great comeback with 6. It sold well, but was totally dwarfed by 7's sales. And given the state of Tekken 8, I don't think a Soul Calibur 7 would be any better. Dead or Alive 6 couldn't decide if it was aimed at gooners or esports and totally flopped, and it didn't even have good gameplay or netcode to salvage it. Mortal Kombat went 2D.5 with 9 and never looked back. Virtua Fighter does have the potential to make a comeback, and from the sounds of things, 6 is on the way. However, Virtua Fighter could never find a big fanbase outside of Japan. If that series wants to compete with Tekken, it really needs to go above and beyond. And any other 3D fighting game is just plain dead, unless SNK decides to remake Budokai 1. What I'm saying is competition breeds innovation, and the 3D fighting game genre doesn't have that in 2024. Tekken can make some baffling choices and screw over the players because they know the 3D fighting game fans have nowhere else to go, and fans of the Tekken series are going to stick with the game no matter what. The silver lining is fighting games usually get better over time. What's your favorite version of BlazBlue? Probably not Calamity Trigger. Case in point, Street Fighter V launched in a poor state, but over time Capcom changed 5 from a half-baked product into a title worthy of the Street Fighter name. Tekken 8 is a mixed bag for sure, and for me it's a fighting game that I don't have much desire to stick with, but I can see others getting really into it. If Namco puts in some time and effort into the game, I feel like 8 will be something special, and hopefully those changes won't cost 600 Tekken coins. I hit the 7-Eleven wine with some Dr. Pepper and some ice, and it actually tastes pretty darn good, but be careful with these. Having more than one is just asking for trouble. I can see why people really like the game, and I can see why people really do not like the game. But for me, it just doesn't do enough for me right now, and I don't really want to play it anymore until they really fix some of the core issues the game has. So now you're probably thinking to yourself, Z-Man, if you think the game is just kind of mid, why does the title of the video say, Why Tekken 8 Sucks? Well, for those of you who don't know what the YouTube game is like, that's the name of the game. So leave me some comments. Are you one of those guys who really loves Tekken 8 and thinks it's the best in this series and I'm just totally wrong about everything I said about the game? Or are you one of those guys that just absolutely hates this game and you think that Namco lost the plot with the Tekken series? Or are you kind of like me and just kind of middle of the road? Let me know down there in the comments. And while you're down there, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell as well for notifications on future videos. I'm very active on the social media like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok @ZMangs. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Later everybody, take care.